Hello and welcome to this virtual make and take where today we are going to jump into the world of Google Forms headers. My name is Sarah Wood and I am an educational technology consultant from Kent ISD, and I'm including some of my contact information on here, so feel free to connect with me or reach out with any questions that you might have. So before we even jump into talking about Google Forms headers, I wanted to start out by saying this idea of doing a virtual make and take was not my original idea. I want to give credit where credit is due, and that credit goes to the awesome ladies at Gold EDU, Ashley, Megan, and Stephanie. I had attended one of their original make and takes and I loved it, so I kind of adapted their idea and put my own little spin, my own little remix on it. So I hope that you enjoy this as much as I enjoyed theirs. The first thing that you will want to do is you will want to join the Google group that I have created for these virtual make and take sessions. And the reason that you will want to do that is so that you will then receive access to the files that will be shared today so that you can edit them. You will also receive email notifications about upcoming make and takes. And it's a great way to also just connect with a community of like-minded educators. So in order to join that Google group, you will need to go to the website shown here, bit.ly/metwgooglegroup. So what you will want to do is then click on that Ask to Join Group button and then fill out a couple of questions as far as your subscription notifications. And then after you submit that request goes to me and I will try to approve that in as quick of a time frame as I can, but just understand that it will not be immediate access that you have. So please hang with me and I hope to get to them within 24 hours. The schedule of make and take sessions that I have established for this school year are going to be listed on the screen here. And you can go back at any time and visit any of the previous make and take sessions. So if you joined later, by all means, go back and check out any of the previous ones. And because you've joined the Google group to participate in these make and take sessions, any notifications will go to that group for new sessions, as well as you will have access to all the old resources as well. So another benefit to joining that Google group. So jumping into our content today. Some of the big concepts that we are really going to explore as far as Google Forms headers is really to build a creative, a welcoming, and engaging digital space and kind of step away from that basic purple theme that always comes up when you create a Google form. Because let's be honest, the real reason why I started to create this specific make and take session is it personally drives me nuts when I see that Google form that's sent out with the basic purple theme and no header image. I know I'm guilty of doing that sometimes when I need to quick put together a form, but I often then go back later and try and at least change the color of it, just to let people know that I put a little thought and time into the form and that I really do value their feedback on the form that they're filling out. And because we're teachers, we always are aware of standards. I'm including standards that are covered if you choose to do this with students as far as the MyTech standards, as well as ISTE standards for educators, so for your professional growth. So the first tool that we will be looking at is Google Slides. The next couple images here, I will show you some tips as far as getting your Google Slides set up as far as being able to create your own header. You do not need to do these along with me, but feel free to come back to the slideshow as a reference to revisit any of these topics. I just wanted to make sure that everyone's on the same page before we actually jump into the creating part. The first thing that you will want to know about is how to change your slide size, and this is important for the Google Forms header in order to have your whole header that you design show up on your Google form. So in order to do that, you need to change your slide size to 1600 by 400 pixels. Then once you have your slide size set, you can go ahead and you can change your background if you wish with colors or images, and this is completely up to you. Your Google form header can be whatever you would like it to be as it relates to the content that you're asking for feedback in your form. You can also change the slide layout to help you kind of visually lay out your slide or add text boxes automatically. You can also add images. Google Slides allows you to easily insert copyright-friendly images right into your slide, but you may also choose to add images from other sources, and I'm listing some on the screen here for some of my favorites as far as copyright-friendly images. Once you have created your slide with your background, you've added some text and maybe some images, the very last thing that you will want to do is to download your slide as an image. And I usually recommend doing it as a PNG image, but you may also download it as a JPG file. Once you have downloaded your image and saved it to your computer, you can then go over to your Google form where you can then upload your image that you just saved. And once you upload it and hit done, it will automatically add your header image, and it might even change the color background just based on some of the colors that it selected from your image. So that is just one way as far as creating a header image and using Google Slides as a tool. But another tool that you can use that is even easier than that is using Canva. And I highly recommend the Canva for Education. So if you sign up for their education account as a teacher, you then have access to a lot of the pro features that your free account otherwise wouldn't have. So as far as getting started in Canva, I do like to point out, even before going into using some of their tools, is to kind of think about your color palette, because they give you so many image-rich, text-rich templates to choose from that it can be a little overwhelming. So sometimes even just taking a step back and thinking about the color palettes that you're using might be helpful. So I do like to point out Canva colors, coolers, and using the eyedropper Chrome extension. So once you are logged into Canva, you can go to the search bar and simply just type in Google Forms, and a bunch of pre-made headers will pop up, and you can easily edit any of them that are there. Otherwise, if you would like to take the approach of having a little bit more of a blank slate to start with, you can start out just like we did in Google Slides as far as changing the pixel size of your image by the 1600 by 400 pixels, and kind of starting with a blank slate, or even once you put in those dimensions, it will give you even more auto-generated template images that you can select from. Okay, so now we have just gone over some super basic things as far as getting going in Google Slides, as well as using Canva as far as locating templates and using some of the tools in Google Slides to edit and modify things that you have created. So now here's where I'd kind of like to release you and let you can see what you can do with your creativity as far as creating your own Google Forms headers. And how this will work is you click on any of these topic areas listed on that table there, and it will open up a different slideshow presentation. And because you have joined the Google group, you will have access to those right away, where you can then have editing rights to any of those slides. Once you have done that, feel free to grab a blank slide or add a new blank slide if all of them are used, and go ahead and add your header. And the whole point of this is we're making something in these collaborative Google Slides presentations right now. Even if you do create it in Canva, save it and upload it to the Google Slides so others can see it, because then that will take us to our last part where we can take what others have done. So this gives others a chance to copy your slide, edit it, make it their own without having to spend a whole lot of time on that. And so that's the great part, is that because we have this collaborative environment, we are all learning and creating with each other, but we're also kind of giving that permission to say, hey, take what I've done, remix it, make it work for you, because we're all in this together. So what I just asked for you to do is down at the bottom in the speaker notes section is to add your name, and if you're on social media, either your Twitter handle or your Instagram handle or even your Facebook page, so that we can connect with you and give you the proper credit for sharing the work that you have done or remixing the work that you have done. So why don't you go ahead and pause the video, take 10 or 15 minutes to explore, see what others have already created, and also create your own and add it to any of these specific content area slide presentations. All right, welcome back. And like I mentioned before, our last part is that we are going to now have the chance to take it. So you might have noticed other form headers that people have created. You were like, wow, that was really cool. I never really thought of that. Go ahead, make a copy of that, change up some of the text that's on there, make it your own, and feel free to download and use those. That's the great thing about these make it and take it's, is that no one is creating in a silo. So if you really enjoyed creating your own custom Google Form headers, the next thing that you could do is maybe take it to the next level as far as teaching your students to make the headers and have them submit them to you. So then you can surprise them by using some of their own custom header images and forms that you put out to them as far as daily check-ins or assessments or whatever else you might use Google Forms for. And finally, the very last bit of information here, but is also super important to me, is that I would love to know what you think. So if you could take a moment and visit the evaluation website there and tell me what you thought of this make and take session and anything that you can suggest as far as future topics or improvement would definitely be appreciated. And I hope to see you back for future make and take sessions.